Hello.
Hello and welcome back to Villa View. With Dan's very informal introduction, but we are going to be predicting between me and Dan the new season ahead of us that is only now moments away from us, only a few days away from us. Got many predictions coming up, including who we think is going to be top goal scorer, who we think is going to win the league, and where exactly Villa are going to actually finish in the league. So let's get straight into this. Make sure you can tweet us as well, the VillaView _ with all your predictions as well. So let's start then. Where do you think Villa are actually going to finish this season?
Obviously, we should say at the start that we're going to revisit this after the transfer window is shut, because obviously the landscape could be very different by the end of August. So this is just what we think now, and then we're going to go over them again and get a chance to change our predictions. So for now, I'm going to give Villa a very generous prediction of, at the moment, 6th, which is I would definitely take if I was offered it now. I just think there's just about enough there to finish 6th, and I'm banking on the fact that we are going to get a goal scorer in, and we are going to get a better right back in, and get a bit more experience in the midfield as well. So I'm going to go with 6th at the moment, more in hope than expectation. What about you?
I've got a bit more generous. I've given Villa a 4th place finish. Reason behind that is that obviously Ross McCormack does look imminent. Does look very close to being over the line. I think he's got enough, along with someone like Jordan Ayew up top or Rudy Gestede. I think we've got plenty up front then to have to challenge right at the top. And I think maybe we'll come a bit more onto that, where we think we may go through the playoffs, etc. in a bit. But I think the 4th is probably most realistic, especially when you look at the teams around us. And we're going to go on to that in a minute with where we think other teams are going to finish. So we're going to look at the top 6 now as a whole. And I'm going to be quite frank here. I know that Villa hopefully will be up there, but I'm going to be quite frank in thinking that I think that Newcastle probably will win the league. What's your top 6?
I've gone with, it's a bit of a, not an outrageous shout, but people will probably be surprised, but I've gone for Sheffield Wednesday, top, followed by Newcastle in 2nd, so them 2 for the automatics, and then Norwich 3rd, Brighton 4th. This is another ambitious one. Wigan 5th, and Villa 6th.
You'll laugh in a minute when you find out something about mine.
Okay.
But for my top 6, I've got Newcastle to finish top.
Yeah.
Brighton 2nd.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday 3rd. Villa 4th. Leeds United 5th. And 6th Norwich.
That's fair. Not sure about Leeds. I did think about them, but I don't know. I think maybe we're overestimating what Gary Monk can do, because their owners are nutcase.
I think potentially you might be on something there. But
Gary Monk probably won't be there.
Well as well.
Say again?
Brighton have invested well as well, so maybe I think it might be their year to actually go up automatically instead of going for the playoffs and doing not much.
I don't know whether there'll be some scars from last season, but then saying that, I'm contradicting myself because I put Sheffield Wednesday to be top, just because I think they were so good at home last season. I didn't realise until today that they'd bought Abdi from Watford.
Yeah.
He'd be a very good player in the Championship. They've got Forrester Airy, they've got Bannon, who's a good Championship player, they've got a decent back line. And I think I'd be shocked if we beat them on Sunday. If I was offered a point now, I'd snap your hands off for a point, especially with our squad, our business probably not being finished.
Yeah. Well, it's Watford elect, isn't it, at Sheffield Wednesday? I think there's 4 or 5 players. I think they've got Vida as well, haven't they? Plenty.
I don't know, actually. But at the end of the day, they've got good Championship experience. If they have got Watford elect, then Watford have gone up. Those players will have experienced promotion and know what it takes. Whereas there's only really a few in our squad, maybe even only one, that knows what it takes to go up.
Yeah. Go towards the opposite end of the table now. Relegation. Ian Holloway has obviously said this week that he thinks Villa could be relegated, but then didn't actually put Villa in his bottom 3. What's your bottom 3?
Again, it's going to sound stupid, but I've gone for Forest because I think they're in a mess. Blackburn because I think, again, they're in a mess. And Rotherham. As my 3. I know I just think Owen Coyle's not a good appointment for Blackburn, even at Championship level. I know he did well at Burnley, but I think he got bolted into a bit of a mess. And I think Blackburn are in that same kind of scenario where they don't really know what they're doing. They're neither here nor there. They're going through managers. They're going through players. They've lost one of their better defenders. I just think Blackburn are struggling. Again, Forest with their owner. He ain't a very good owner, to be fair. And I don't think they've bought anyone, have they? Forest.
They've bought Kasami from Olympiacos. Brilliant signing.
Have they got him?
Yeah, they're looking close on They've signed Armand Traore, and I read today that they're close on can't remember who it was, but they've got a few sort of big name-ish for the league to come in for them, so it could be an interesting one. I don't know.
Oh dear. Poor research from me.
I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong. I know they signed Kasami and Armand Traore, but Armand Traore is pretty awful. So
I may change that when we come to the end of August. Then.
my relegation 3. Now, originally I was thinking Wigan down there. I'm thinking we're going to be down there, but my bottom 3 is Rotherham, Blackburn, and then Fulham.
Fulham, because of McCormack and Dembele going.
Yeah, they've lost those 2, and then the only place they've really strengthened is in goal. They've lost a few key players in midfield as well on free transfers this summer. I think there's a massive rebuilding project there, and I think that maybe they could slip down, especially with such a topsy-turvy ownership as well there as well. It's another dodgy ownership to say the least.
Not a bad shout. I didn't think of Fulham. Probably should have factored that in with McCormack looking like he's leaving as well. And Dembele is a good player. He looks good at Dortmund. He scored the other day in a pre-season friendly. So he'll be a big loss.
They're going to sign Nathan D'Alfonso or someone like that and be their main striker or something daft like that.
Yeah, they could go the way of Blackpool then. Yeah, he was at Blackpool, wasn't he? Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
So you got Wigan. You wanted Wigan near the bottom. I've only put Wigan near the top because I think that there's always a team that comes up from League One and does quite well and surprises you, carries on the momentum from the last campaign. And I think Will Grigg, for example, scored a lot of goals in League One. I don't think the step up from League One to Championship is massive. So I think he'll probably score goals in the Championship as well. And I think their manager's quite switched on, Caldwell. So I just think they might be a surprise package.
See, I've got Barnes as a surprise package.
I think Barnes will do all right. They've signed the guy from Warsaw, Bradshaw, haven't they? Is it Bradshaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've signed him from Warsaw. He knows where the goal is. So again, I don't think the step up is that great. So Barnes will probably do okay as well. They've got a good young manager as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned the goal scoring form of Bradshaw there and Will Grigg. So who's your top goal scorer?
I'm not sure I can say his name properly. I've gone for Forestieri from Sheffield Wednesday just because I've predicted them to be top. He's their main striker. He got 15 goals last season. I don't think he played. I think he only played 36 games or something, so he missed 10 games for them. So I think if he gets a whole season behind him, he'll be dangerous in that league.
I've gone with a bold choice. Now, this is my bold choice. My bold choice is Kemar Roof.
He's good.
It's a huge step up from League Two, but he's been in good pre-season form, so maybe. But my more realistic one is Jose Perez of Newcastle.
Oh, I didn't know we were allowed 2 predictions.
No, I said my bold. If I did a bold one, it would be Kemar Roof, but I think my main one is Jose Perez.
I think I also had a bold one. It would be Rudy Gusted, and I really would be bold.
Or Gabriel
Bonneho. I don't think either of them will happen. I don't think there's any danger of either of them scoring in the 20s. No chance.
No chance.
No.
How about Villa, goal scorer?
Well, if McCormack was to come in, obviously he'd be the sensible bet that you go for. But as we don't really know whether that's going to happen yet, he was our top scorer last season, so I've just gone with Ayer because he should be too good for that league if we hold on to him, which I presume we're going to after what Di Matteo said. But he should be too good for the league, definitely. So I'd back him to. Depends where he plays, I guess. If he's playing off the striker, he's probably not going to score as many. But you'd think he'd be getting into double figures in the Championship. Jordan Ayew, I'd be disappointed if he didn't with his ability.
I've gone with Ayew as of this afternoon.
Right.
The Ross McCormack stuff has gathered a lot of momentum. But I think Ayew probably tipped it just the fact he's actually a Villa player at the moment.
Yeah.
The fact, as you say, if he does play on the cuff of the striker, I think that he could score a bag full in this league. He is too good for it. And he's been in with numerous sides, but I really do hope we do keep holding because he will be a real threat in this league. And I can't see it being any other way than him being our top goal scorer.
Yeah, he's one of the. Well, he's definitely he's in the top 2 of the most naturally talented people that are left at Villa Park. So you'd expect him to do some damage, really.
Do you want to go with the next question?
Yeah. So the next one we've got. So we picked the top 6. So now down to the playoffs. What would you say is going to be the playoff final, and who's going to win through the playoffs?
See, I didn't know if you meant like premurations or whatever you call it when you sort of like all the possibilities. So I've gone with Villa will go through the playoffs, winning it, but they'll beat Norwich in the semi, and then Leeds United in the final.
Okay, so I've gone for Villa beating Norwich in the semis and beating Brighton in the final. That's what I have down at the moment. I'm hoping we're going to sign 3 or 4 exciting players and that I can safely predict at the end of August that we're going to be in the top 2, because I don't want to be going through the heartache of the playoffs. I don't think my heart can take it. I don't want to be going through that way. I'd much rather have automatic promotion, obviously. But if I was offered 6th at the moment, I'd absolutely snap your hand off for it, because I don't think we're quite ready yet to be challenging. A lot of scars from last season.
There's plenty of them, isn't there? So I think there's plenty to sort out before then. Like I say, we will be going through the predictions later on in the year, or a month or so.
Yeah. Villa player of the season?
I've gone with Gary Gardner.
That's ambitious.
Well, I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, I've got to, haven't I? I've backed myself into a corner. You know what my 2 answers are going to be for 2 questions. I've gone with Grealish, obviously, after what I said in the discussion show the other day. I stand by it. I think he'll be the bet. I've got no bets. I've not put any money on it. I just think that he will end up being. I put my neck on the line and said at the end of the season, if he stays fit, that when 442 do their end of season awards, that he'll be voted the best player in the Football League. It was Andre Gray won it last season for Burnley, and I can't think of any past winners off the top of my head. But Andre Gray definitely won it last season, because I remember reading it. So I'm backing that Grealish will be Villa's best player and the Championship's
I can see it.
Best player.
He just needs to get a good run.
He needs some players around him as well. He's not going to be able to do it on his own. I mean, if we've got the team that we had out on Saturday starting the whole of the season, he's probably not going to get many goals and assists because there's not much going on around him. But if we can get that 3 or 4 players and get a proper striker in, then I'd back him to do some serious damage like Aya. What about you?
What, with player of the season still?
Yeah. Oh, Gardner, yeah.
Gary Gardner. I think
expand.
Pardon?
Expand. I'd like you to expand on it.
Well, I think that it's his time to shine now. Everyone said he's the next golden boy for us, and he's never quite delivered. I think this time it's his time to show. He's had a good 2 years now in the Championship, being arguably Forest's best player last season. Well, he was.
Yeah.
And also at Brighton as well, he had a good patch as well. I think that there's plenty of experience in him now. He's played over 100 games, I think it is, in the Championship. Plenty of experience. I think it's his time to shine. And I think in a Villa side, he could potentially thrive for his boyhood club, as I believe it is.
I'm just worried about injuries. I mean, he went down injured on Saturday for a bit early on in the game, in the first half. And I just worry that he's not going to stay fit in a Villa shirt because he seems to just be cursed whenever he's at Villa, and whenever he goes to Forest, he gets a massive run of games together. But I'm hoping that jinx is over and that he can get a run together and be one of our key players, because he's definitely got ability. He's just been held back massively by injuries.
Just a quick one to throw in there. How about Adam Traore for if he does stay and if he plays? Just to throw that name in the ring.
I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about him myself. I know there's a lot of hype about him, and I know obviously he got that massive assist for Hill last season, that wonder goal. But I just don't. He's got so much ability, but then you look at the basics, like just passing to a teammate or getting your head up, and I don't know whether he's got that in his locker. He's just too raw for me, and I don't think he'll be at Villa. I think he'll end up going back to Spain on loan somewhere for a season. I do not see him being with Villa. I mean, if he gets fit, that's the other thing. He's always injured as well. If he gets fit, he's obviously got a chance because we don't have any wingers, so he's got a chance of playing. I just worry about his positional sense. I mean, we've got right backs who are not the greatest defenders, without naming any names. If you're playing Adama Traore in front of them, you're going to get torn apart down that side, in my eyes, for definite. Yeah,
I agree. I only threw the name in there because I saw a few people commenting saying that he'd destroy the Championship, and I don't quite agree with that, to be honest.
No. Might get some haters now for for not saying nice things.
Young player?
I've gone with Tish Bowler, just because he's our £5 million signing. I'd expect him to be starting most games. He's only 21, I think, and I think he's the kind of we certainly, without having seen him play too many times, he's certainly the build of midfielder that we've missed over the last few years. I mean, 6'2", 6'3". You'd expect him to be dictating games, taking hold of games, and he said himself that he doesn't hide. So I think he's one that will grow into the season, and I think the Villa fans will end up really liking him, being very fond of him. So I've gone for Tish Bowler. What about you?
I've gone for Grealish, which you can't obviously argue with. So
I'm not going to argue with
him. If he does get a good run on, he will be brilliant for us in the league.
Might get young player and player.
Maybe, you never know.
Get both.
Could be.
Yeah. Fair enough. Not arguing. Right, what have we got next? We've got the Championships overall top goal scorer.
I think we've done that.
Haven't we? Have we? Oh yeah, we did do that. Sorry, I wrote it down twice. My apologies. Unprofessional. You take over the asking of the questions.
Best player in the league.
Grealish.
Okay.
Yeah, I've said it twice now. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't go. I'm gonna have to continue backing him and backing myself. Obviously,
I've gone with Jose Perez.
He's a good player, but I'm surprised they've held on to him. To be honest, I think Newcastle have spent a lot of money, and I think they've spent money in the knowledge that they're not going to be able to hold on to everyone they've got at the moment. I know they've lost a couple of players already, but there's no way Sissoko's going to be there. If he is, I'll be astonished. And Perez is another one who you'd expect there to be interesting. I mean, he's a striker, but he plays quite often in midfield out wide, doesn't he? As well, so I think he's a bit wasted there. He'd be much better in the number 10 role. Maybe in the Championship he'll play there, but Newcastle have got probably you'd think they've got the most depth at the moment. I mean, obviously it looks like they're getting Kieran Clark as well, so they're picking up some depth at the back. But yeah, it's a fair shout, Perez.
I think
can't argue.
They've got him, Mitrovic, Gale. Then they've got the young Connor Armstrong as well. There's plenty of strikers for them there, but I think Jose Perez is the one that sets them apart. I think he's actually linked to Real Madrid at some point in the summer, believe it or not.
He's a good player. I tell you what else they've got who's a good player. I think he's still there. That Rolando Aarons.
Yeah.
He's a good winger. I like him. Wouldn't mind seeing someone like that at Villa, because as I've said before, we've got not many wingers. He looks a good player, a bit more complete than someone like Traoré for me. He's got a bit more to his game, but I'd love Traoré to prove me wrong, and I keep belittling him a little bit. I'd love him to prove me wrong and show me that he's a very, very good footballer.
Yeah. So we're going to move on now to something a bit more general, because obviously we're ignoring the elephants in the room here. We're not in the Premier League for the first time in its 26-year history, but we're all still going to be watching the Premier League, obviously. So
I'm going to be all about Channel 5, and I'm not going to watch anything else.
Kelly Cates.
Yeah, I'm going to be all about that.
I think she's been ditched from it, actually. She's left there, I think. I don't
think
she's anymore. Yeah, could be interesting to see what they do there.
God
we should
knows.
We should definitely go to one of the shows, because you can get in the background, can't you? In the fan.
I can't say I've ever watched it. It's on Series Link now, though. I did it last night. Didn't want to miss it. Did it while I remembered.
So top 6 of the Premier League.
All right, I've gone for Chelsea to win it.
Yeah.
Man City second.
Yeah.
Man U third.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal 4th, Everton 5th, Spurs 6th.
Interesting.
Even though I'm not interested in the Premier League anymore.
I've gone with Chelsea.
Oh, you've done Chelsea as well?
Yeah. Man City 2nd.
No.
Manchester United 3rd.
You copying my answer?
No. I haven't got Arsenal in the top 6, actually.
That's a mistake.
4th, Liverpool.
Yeah.
Spurs 5th.
Yeah.
West Ham 6th.
I think Arsenal will be in the top 6. If they don't, there'll be some very upset Arsenal fans.
I haven't invested for me where they need to invest most, and I think that Wenger's well past his sell-by date there.
I think they'll get a striker. I think you'll be revisiting that.
Yeah,
at the end of August.
Yeah.
I'm probably Liverpool not being in the top 6 with Klopp is probably a bit of an oversight by me, but I don't know. I just don't think they've got.
It's the toughest league. It's the toughest it's ever been, and we're not there.
And obviously we've got the champions on. We haven't either of us have put the champions in the top 6, which seems stupid. Mind you, Chelsea won the league and then finished 9th or 10th the next season. I can't see Leicester doing that again. But then stranger things have happened now. I just think Chelsea they've got a good manager in Conte. He'll get them organised. I think they've got a couple of more players left to come in. I think Hazard, on his day, is the best player in the league. But obviously his day didn't happen very much last season. But I think he'll get sorted under Conte. He showed glimmers for Belgium that he was coming back to his best in the Euros. That he said today that he's going to be playing in the number 10 role by the looks of things. So yeah, Chelsea for me.
I can't see past Chelsea either, especially with an Italian organising the defence.
Yeah, but Man U and Man City are going to be so strong as well. Man U, they get Pogba. They've done some great business. Obviously, they've spent a lot of money. It's tough to predict. Obviously, come May, we're probably going to both look stupid, but it is so difficult to predict.
But only to win the league, then.
No, that won't be happening.
Relegations?
I haven't got Burnley in relegation either. I've gone for Hull because they've got about 13 fit players. Watford, because I think their board has overlooked how much of a part their manager played last season. They got off to an absolute flying start, but they fell away a fair bit in the second half of the season. I think that may carry on, be difficult to adapt to a new coach. And then to please many people, and because I genuinely think it could happen, I've gone with West Brom. Yeah, because they've not done much business. Pulis although he's tactically pretty good, is he tactically pretty good? He gets his team set up well, he gets them organised, obviously. He'll get you to 40 points 9 out of 10 times, but I just think maybe this is the 1 out of 10 times, and it would not surprise me if by Christmas Pulis has left and Roy Hodgson's back at the Baggies. I think Matt Kendrick predicted that, and I think that's the kind of thing I can see happening as well. I just think I don't know, the time may be up. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think they've got a fascination with centre-backs playing all over the pitch. I just think their prehistoric football may get found out this time. And obviously a lot of the West Brom fans don't like Pulis. They don't want him there, so there's obviously something wrong. So I think maybe they'll get found out this season.
Yeah. I've gone with Hull, Watford and West Brom. So
have you?
Yeah.
You have been looking at my answers.
I can't see them.
That's true. I forgot about that. We could both look stupid.
Yeah. Champions League?
Bayern.
Ooh.
Ancelotti.
Okay.
They bought the Portuguese guy whose name completely escapes me. Oh, what's his name? Renato Sanchez. They've got him in the central mid. They're just a strong squad, and I think Ancelotti, Italian manager, will get them organised. They've got Paul Clement over there as well, who's a savvy coach. I think Bayern will just be too strong this year. But obviously then there's so many other strong teams. But I've gone with Bayern. I've gone with my gut.
I've gone with Chelsea.
Do you think the English teams never seem to do well in the Champions League anymore?
It is that, but I think that with Conte, there's a strong European manager that I think essentially is very good at cup managing in the sense that he knows how to pull results out. A bit like Mourinho in a sense as well.
Yeah, he impressed me in the Euros, Conte. I like his style, I like his attitude, I like his passion. I don't know, just an English winner, I just feel like it's quite far off. We've got the most money out of all the leagues, but we just don't seem to build the same kind of teams that teams like Bayern, Real Madrid, Barca. We don't seem to build the same kind of teams that can run through the Champions League.
Apparently there's an issue on playback, but I can't see nothing. Just had a tweet saying that. How about top goal scorer for Champions League?
Suarez.
I've got Ronaldo. So, yeah, they're all good up there, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, I think Suarez is the best striker, out-and-out striker in world football at the moment. And obviously, he gets the best service as well. So, that's why I've picked him.
I've sort of forgot this question, but top goal scorer in the Premier League?
I think I've forgotten it as well. I can't say I've not put anything down. Off the top of my head, Aguero. Obviously, best striker in the Prem.
I've gone with Michy Batshuayi, however you say it.
Do you think he'll play?
I think he'll lead the line. They've paid £35 million on him. I can't see him not leading the line.
Pocket change for Chelsea.
Leaving.
Yeah, but then they might get Lukaku
in. Yeah.
Maybe he'll play two up front. Maybe he'll play three at the back and play two up front. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it's a fair show. You probably get good odds on that. I'd have a flutter if I was you.
It might be tempting. How about World Player of the Year?
Is this Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
So in December.
Or we've got Premier League Player of the Year. I'll let you do Premier League Player of the Year.
Premier League Player of the Year. I've gone Payet.
Interesting.
Because I think if he'd have been fit the whole season last year and Leicester hadn't been involved, he'd have won that for sure. So I think he'll win it this season.
I've gone with who wrote that? Oh, Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Manchester United in this one. He scored a fair few goals in pre-season. The way Mourinho's been playing him, I'm really impressed.
Yeah, Man U.
Chelsea aren't in the Champions League. I don't know why I said they're going to win it.
Wow, I didn't even notice that. Poor from me as well. Did someone tell you that?
That's really poor.
Amateur hour.
To me, it's got to be Bayern, to be fair then. I think they've invested well, and as you say, with Ancelotti. But then Man City with Guardiola, maybe.
I don't see Man City ripping. I think they've bought well, but I don't see them ripping it up like everyone says they will. I think they've probably got a couple of more players to come in. To be fair, but they've not shifted out as many as I thought might go out under
Delph seems
Guardiola.
to be some sort of like hero for Guardiola. He's going to play him at centre half, apparently.
Really? What, like in a
Well, I've read
back?
he's going to play him at centre half.
Fucking hell.
Words fail to describe.
I don't see that happening.
No,
That can't happen. If that happens, I'll be shocked.
you never know. So, as I said, Mkhitaryan for Premier League Player of the Year. How about Ballon d'Or as our final question?
I've gone with Ronaldo just because he captained them to the Euros. It's going to be at Christmas. So I'd be shocked if Ronaldo didn't get it, having achieved that.
See, I considered Ronaldo, but I don't know why I've gone with. I think I've gone with this one based on the fact of how Wales were led in the Euros and the fact he won the Champions League again. Gareth Bale.
Not a bad shout. He fizzled out a little bit in the Euros towards the end. He started well when goalkeepers seemed to be letting him score free kicks. But I don't know. It's got to be Ronaldo. I can't see it not being Ronaldo.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit of stick for my Champions League prediction.
Oh, to be fair, I didn't even notice, so I deserve stick as well.
Yeah.
Although I did say it wouldn't happen, so there we go.
I'm genuinely embarrassed about that one, but there we go.
Dan Rollinson will edit it out when it.
Yeah.
Only people that are watching live will see it.
Yeah, Dan can get rid of that one. Is there any other predictions wise that you wanted to predict?
FA Cup.
Okay, then.
Man U.
Okay, that's fair enough. I've gone with West Ham.
Interesting. Mourinho's bound to win something in his first season. He's going to win something, and I haven't got him down for the league, so we'll go with FA Cup.
Maybe.
League Cup. Liverpool.
Man United. See.
Klopp. Winning the Liverpool. I think I'm getting a bit of stick for what I said about Grealish being the best player in the league.
You are, yeah. I'm just reading it now.
Villa player, I shouldn't be getting stick for backing a local boy come through the academy. I shouldn't be getting stick for that. He's a good footballer. On his day, he could do it. I stand by it.
Yeah. Do you reckon we've got time for a few questions of people that people have sent in a few questions?
We have got time for questions, but my YouTube won't let me see any of them.
I'm looking through Twitter at the questions that we've got.
Okay, have we not got any on YouTube? The people that are watching.
We have actually.
Why haven't I got them? This is a disgrace.
What are your opinions on the goals we conceded against Middlesbrough from Stuart Charter?
You go first.
Well, I actually went to the game. Not that it makes any difference because obviously you watched it as well. But from what I saw, it was just the case that we was left way too open. Too many players over the left-hand side of the field. I don't know how well the camera covered it, but for
it was ABTV.
Yeah.
It didn't cover it very well.
Yeah, I think it was Victor Fisher's goal, which was the second one, the one that made it 2-1. That was just a simple, pure, powerful counter-attack. I think that we were left way too exposed there, but that was expected when we was committed so many men forward. In the case of that is Roberto Di Matteo's 4-2-3-1 formation that left that to happen. We were left way too open, but that's something we'll learn from that, and I'm not too worried about that goal. As for the other one, Negredo's equaliser, I think it was. Was it Negredo equaliser? Yeah. With his one, I'm a bit concerned because Galini parried that one straight into the path.
Yeah, that was a big old parry.
That was an awful parry. I think he's got away with that one under the microscope just because of the fact we lost 3-1.
Someone did actually say that was one of his weak points. Someone on Twitter said it. I don't know who it was.
Me.
Was it you?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, taking the credit. You're trying to redeem yourself after your Chelsea mistake.
Yeah. What else did you make of the game?
Just think the only thing that slightly worries me, obviously it's pre-season, so I don't ever take into account too much with pre-season because obviously Scott Sinclair scored a hat-trick in pre-season last year and then didn't really do anything coming into the season. But just a bit worried that we ship a goal and then we ship another one straight after. That was a symptom of last season, and that worries me. But then it was different defenders, like Baker wasn't there last season, Elphick wasn't there last season, but it's just it is the people like Hutton and Sissoko who were there all of last season, losing every week. It worries me that it does become a habit, and it also worries me that playing at Villa Park comes with such a pressure that we hadn't lost a pre-season game, and as soon as we set foot on Villa Park, we lose. But then Middlesbrough are a Premier League team now. They won most of their games last season. We're a Championship team. We lost most of our games last season. So is it that much of a surprise that we lost? Probably not.
No, I agree with that. Another question is there a place, is there a place for Hepburn Murphy in the lineup from Daniel Byrne?
You go first.
I think there's not a place in the lineup because he's 17. I think he's 17, that's still quite young. A lot of maturing still to do, but I think there's certainly a place for him on the bench, and I think there's certainly a place for him to come on after 70 minutes. Because I'm reading tonight, it's been really sharp again. They're playing Tamworth at the moment, Villa's under 23s, they've called it. And he's been quite sharp again from what I'm reading, so maybe he could be the bright spark to come off the bench. Maybe mid-season he could come in and start games, I don't quite know. But I think there's definitely a huge player there, a lot of potential, a lot of raw talent, but also quite a good bit of talent as well that's well developed.
He looks a player, he looks a bit fearless as well, but there's no way he'll be starting the season. He may well be on the bench on Sunday. It wouldn't surprise me to see him on the bench, but he won't be starting. Purely because if you're thinking that if we are going to be playing 4-2-3-1, which it looks like we'll be, playing a young 17-year-old on his own up front, that's too much pressure. That is way too much pressure, especially the tough start we've got Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think we could have a tougher start, but he will be involved at some point. He'll score a goal for us this season in the league. I'll go as far as to say that.
Another point, another error we've made.
Oh, God.
It's the issue with doing it live. Apparently, Dan, you said Dembele's at Dortmund, not Celtic.
Who is it that's gone to Dortmund?
A different Usami Dembele's gone to.
It's an easy mistake to
Dortmund.
make. Same name.
Yeah.
Same name.
I did sort of slightly think, not now, but like when I saw the transfer, I did think it was Dortmund had signed Fulham.
Obviously, that's what I thought. I've got it wrong. I hold my hands up. We all make mistakes.
Yes, you're all berating me over Chelsea in the Championship.
Chelsea was a shocker, though. That's a more local error. Getting it wrong in England. I've made an honest mistake.
I feel like you should argue your point a bit more about Grealish being the best player.
I did on the discussion show.
I'll give you that. Yeah. Somebody said, would Alberto and Morrison be good additions, and can RDM get the best out of them? For me personally, yeah, 110%.
I don't know much about Alberto. I know he's at Liverpool or still is at Liverpool. He's never really played in England, has he, though, really? He's always been getting sent back on loan to Spain, I think. Yeah. Morrison, I think, is worth a punt. Morrison's definitely worth a punt because we're light in midfield with Garner going. It looks like Sanchez is going. Verito will probably go as well. I think we're very light in central midfield. And the lad has got talent, but obviously he's just got these off-the-field problems, and we've had enough of the off-the-field problems over the last few years. But if he's cheap, he's definitely worth a punt. He scored a good goal for Lazio the other day, I saw on Sky Sports News. I just think he's worth a punt. He probably wants to come. He probably wants to prove himself, so hopefully he can. It looks like that's certain to happen from what we see.
He's teasing the club, the fans a lot, isn't he, with all his different follows and stuff.
Yeah, he's taking a mick, isn't he?
Next one, this is a big one for me, a point that I really want to discuss. It's from Staines2012 on YouTube, and he said, do you think our owner is the real deal? I certainly have serious concerns about the owner and Roberto Di Matteo. I know I'm being negative, but something is not sitting right with me. I really think we will struggle this season.
I can understand to an extent why things aren't sitting right. I think we were expecting a full rebuild to have happened at the start of the season, not people like Lescott not being here. But I think it's difficult to shift players. And I think negotiations for buying players are difficult, and Tony Zar alluded to that when he said that we're trying to buy. We're waiting on Premier League moves to an extent to happen before we can get players in that we want, because we're looking at a higher level player. But I think we don't know whether he's the real deal, but we've got to have some hope. I mean, we've had such a terrible 5-6 years as... Don't you dare yawn when I'm talking.
Sorry. I was tired, hence the point about Chelsea.
We've had 5 to 6 years of trauma as Villa fans, so I'm just being hopeful that he is the real deal. I think he's got some good plans for us. I think he's just joining in on Twitter. He's trying to be one of the lads, trying to be one of the Villa fans. I think after years of not hearing anything at boardroom level, for me, however rubbish some of the stuff looks at times, it's just nice to hear from the owner and see that he has got some passion for the club and he does care.
Yeah, I'm going to distribute any statement that's question our own. I think that it's totally wrong to question a man's integrity when he's gone out and bought a football club and said so many big statements. I know we've seen it all before with previous owners in other clubs, but I think that it's bad to question anybody's integrity that's willing to take on a club that's got so many problems like Villa. So many players need to be cleared. I think it's impossible to do it in one summer. And I think Tony Jard realised that quite quickly, that it's not easy to get rid of your deadwood. It's not going to be easy to sign players when you're a championship side, because the Premier League, even the likes of Burnley, I think a player would rather go and play for Burnley now than play for Villa. And I mean, 5 years ago, that would be unthinkable. But now, I don't think it is. I think it would happen. So I think you can't question his integrity at all. I think you have to let him get on with it and let him prove the point to us. And that's going to roll into the next statement where somebody said, do you think the potentially signing Ross McCormack is a big statement of intent by the owner?
I think it is a big statement of intent because he is one of the top strikers in the Championship. Personally, his age worries me a bit, but then it's not my money. But I'm just worried that we've spent a lot of money on people who haven't done very much of an older age in the past. I think it is a statement of intent. It would be a good sign. And the other thing is, it looks like Norwich really want him, and it weakens someone who might be a promotion rival if he chooses to come to us over Norwich. So I've got reservations, but he'll guarantee goals, which should be the main thing. So that should be what I'm concerned about. So hopefully my reservations are just stupid.
Well, yeah, I'm agreeing, yeah. My opinion is the fact that the cost of selling Kieran Clark and Drissagonier does sort of pay, in a sense, for McCormack. So in a way, I'm hopeful that we might go in for a second striker, in the sense that Patrick Bamford's apparently still around, hovering around, and maybe we'll go for Jonathan Codger as well. Because you imagine Jonathan Codger with Ross McCormack with Jordan Ayew behind them, that would win the league for me.
Where's Grealish?
Well, they'd be on the bench.
No. Can't win the Player of the Year if he was on the bench. I think, just quickly about while we're talking about money and stuff, I think actually the owner is probably quite excited and wants to spend some money, wants to get some players in, but I think Di Matteo is taking his time over picking the right kind of characters. I think that's quite important to him, a bit like O'Neill. I think the character of the player fitting into the dressing room is more important to Di Matteo than someone who's got loads of ability but questionable attitude. But then actually that completely destroys my point about Ravel Morrison before, but maybe you know something about Morrison that we don't. I just think he's taking his time, making sure he gets the right signing and the right fit, and I think that is important. We've got till the end of August. The promotion isn't going to happen if we don't win the first couple of games. It's a long season. Teams often stage late runs and get into the playoffs, get promotion. So I think it's a long season. There's still a few weeks left for us to get the right players in.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to wrap it up there for today, because at the moment my conservatory hasn't got any lights and it's getting a bit dark, so you probably can't see me in a minute. So thank you today, Dan, for joining me. I'm looking forward to the barrage of abuse we're both going to get for our both errors.
It's been a horror show. It's been an absolute horror show. I'm not looking forward to it.
It's what happens when it goes live, but I'm sure people have enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you're dropping us a like below. Thanks to Dan for joining me today.
Thanks to you, Matt.
And comment below, what did you think about our predictions? Drop your own predictions below. We might even put in the description all those questions so you can answer them yourselves and tweet them to us, whatever else, and we'll retweet all of them so we can get everybody's opinions in and sort of gauge what everybody's views are. So as I say, make sure you subscribe to the channel of the Villa View, and that is all for today. Plenty more content will come in, and a big reveal tomorrow. Huge reveal too. Huge things are going on tomorrow with the Villa View, so make sure you're heading over to our social media channels and the YouTube channel to see what is going on tomorrow, which is so big throughout the day.
Bye.